Leaving your hometown is so overwhelming because I didn't understand me leaving Little Rock, me leaving my hometown was the best for me because it was okay to leave where I was from. See, oftentimes our attachments from our hometowns, from a place that we have grew up, and we don't understand there's more out here in this world. Well, at least I didn't understand because I didn't know anything else rather than Little Rock, Arkansas. See, Little Rock, Arkansas is it's not a big town, but it's a town big enough with over 300,000 people in the city. Yet I didn't recognize that the best opportunity comes from when we get uncomfortable within ourselves. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Terryl with the Humphrey, and welcome to another episode of Failure is Knowledge. Here at Failure is Knowledge, we speak about growth and how we're developing to the best version of ourselves. If this is your first time here at Failure is Knowledge, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and wait towards the end and leave a comment, because today we're talking about why it is okay to leave your hometown. See, it takes belief and it takes grit. I didn't understand what grit was until I heard it and somebody actually explained what grit actually meant. Grit is saying you have the desire to change your current situation. See, I didn't recognize that I had an attachment to home because it was so difficult for me. Now, granted, this is not my first time leaving Little Rock, Arkansas, but this is different. This is different from the first time I went to the military. When I joined the Marine Corps, it wasn't as hard as it was this time for me leaving Little Rock, Arkansas to Florida, because I didn't know what to expect when I was joining the military. I didn't know what to expect when I joined the Marine Corps because I was just trying to figure out who I was becoming. And that was in 2018. I was only 19 years old. And when I understood that there's more than Little Rock, Arkansas, how can I change and be comfortable with leaving my hometown? See, the first point I want to hit on is the attachment to home. I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, so it was hard for me to leave until I recognized and understood that Little Rock is such a small place that the opportunities are very limited, because it's very limited because I didn't understand what was outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. Even though I didn't understand, and I was willing to leave and learn more about me and learn more about myself. Once I understood, in order for me to learn more, I have to be uncomfortable to leave my hometown. That's when I joined the military. That's when I wanted more, because I was working at Walmart, and me working at Walmart made me not have an attachment to Little Rock, Arkansas no more. Because I was thinking, I was like, for the next 20 years, I don't see myself working at Walmart. It's a great job, great facility, great place to have a career, but I just didn't see myself there because I wasn't in my purpose. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy going to work. What is it called? It was tough for me to go. You know how you wake up in the morning and be like, God, dog, now I gotta go to work. Now I can't sleep in, because as I'm sleeping in, I'm sleeping on something that's not meant for me. And it's not meant for me because I just didn't know myself. I just didn't understand that the attachment with home meant that it's okay to pull away and lead to a different state. So when I joined when I made my mind up to join the military, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, because I just didn't know what to expect. I watched 3 videos on the Marine Corps on how and on what it is and what to prepare for it and how to prepare for it. But in all honesty, me watching the video can't prepare me, because I can't get prepared from things that I do not understand. Yes, I talked to a recruiter. The recruiter gave me the breakdown of it, but it's just different from experiencing the change rather than learning about it, because experience is greater than experience is the best teacher, because you can't tell me what I've been through. There's stories, there's books, there's documentaries about what we're currently doing, but as we're currently doing it, that's when we learn more about ourselves. That's when I recognized that me being attached to home was me keeping myself comfortable. It was me having an emotional connection to it, because I didn't know how to pull away from Little Rock, Arkansas. My greatest opportunity came when I left to San Diego, California. It came because it was something that I had to adapt to. I wasn't attached to home. I grew into attachment to change. Once I changed, I had to learn that changing doesn't happen, evolving doesn't happen if we're not putting effort into it. And and it's crazy. In boot camp, it was three words that I believe core values that we say every day. Honor, courage, commitment. Honor, courage, commitment. We say that every night before we went to sleep. And at the moment, it resonated with me because I was just trying to go with the motion. I was trying, like, it was boot camp. I was trying to get out. I was just going with the motion. I was just going with the motion at the time. And it didn't give me, it gave me a more understanding when I got out the military, because you have to have honor to believe in yourself. You have to have courage to do things that you do not see. And you have to be committed in the process, because the process is going to reward you once you commit to yourself. And it's only possible because of I decided to leave my hometown. Leaving my hometown wasn't as bad because I just didn't know what to expect. Even though I didn't know what to expect, it was the best for me because it helped me grow. It helped me grow into the person I am today. Sense of belonging to an attachment to home is saying I belong here. I belong in Little Rock, Arkansas. I belong in this city, in this state for the rest of my life. It's a sense of belonging because everybody that's there is my family. I'm not familiar with them. Me leaving taught me to be familiar and learn new people. That's why it's so important, because I was afraid to change. Fear of change is just saying I don't believe in what's coming, because what's coming, I don't know what to expect. Even though I don't know what to expect, that's when I understood that attachment to home is saying I'm afraid, that I have fear to change. Me having fear is saying, what can go worse? What's the worst case scenario that can come from this? Rather than saying, what's the best thing that can come from this? Rather than explaining and discovering my options. See, oftentimes as we're going through life, the first thing that we think about is the negative results. Why can't we think about the positive results, the positive process rather than the negative? Because the positive outweighs the negative. I didn't understand. That's what I was thinking. I was hoping for the best, and the best did not come. Because my day started out bad. As my day started out bad, how can I change and make it better? Going with the motion, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. But being grateful for the opportunity and recognizing and learning that change is okay, but I can't be afraid to change for myself. See, attachment to home is saying I don't want to leave my hometown because I'm comfortable here. I have my friends, I have my family, I have everybody I grew up here in this hometown, and I don't want to leave them. I don't want to leave them. And as I'm leaving them, I'm leaving the connection that I have built with them. And it's so important to recognize that your connection never leaves. It only gets stronger when you learn more about yourself. That's why it's so important to identify that it's okay to be afraid. I had to learn how to do it afraid, because doing it afraid taught me the best lesson. Because I was afraid of change. My biggest fear was changing. It was changing because my friends and my family was in my hometown. I didn't recognize me leaving my hometown was that they was going to always be there. I just had to leave for myself. Because not only was I learning more about myself, I had to learn and identify what I wanted to do rather than anybody else. Because I can't focus on everybody else if I'm not focusing on myself. So that's when I learned. That's when I spoke to a recruiter. When the recruiter talked to me, he told me, like, man, this is what it's going to be. Boot camp is not going to be the best, but you'll be able to make it. You'll be able to survive. You play football, so it won't be as hard on you as you think. The most difficult part about leaving your hometown is exactly that, leaving your hometown. Yet when I left, it was okay for me to leave, because it taught me how to be independent by myself. Not only just be independent, but just learn more about who I am. I believe you learn more when you are uncomfortable rather than comfortable comfortable because we're forced to do things that we're not used to doing. Right? I didn't recognize that it was the California I wasn't familiar with because I was familiar with Little Rock, Arkansas. Even though I wasn't familiar with it, how can I get to know it? How can I get to embrace it? How can I get to learn it? San Diego was good. Everybody was telling me that has visited San Diego was like, man, San Diego is good. You're going to love it. The weather is great. The weather is great. People that ain't been to San Diego, that haven't been to California, don't recognize that it get cold down there as well. And it get freezing. But see, me identifying the territory, me identifying that place led me to identify the territory. It was unknown because I've never been there. People that have visited was like, man, San Diego is great. They probably visited at a different time of the year because I was there for a couple years. So now I'm experiencing everything that's going on with California. But I did it afraid. Me doing it afraid led me to learn more about myself. Me doing it afraid led me to learn about what I wanted to do. Me doing it afraid led me to learn about honor, courage, commitment. And the reason being because when I joined the military, the lessons wasn't just saying this is what I'm teaching you, but the lessons the greatest lessons that was taken away from that was things that was not spoken about. It was not spoken about because I had to learn and how to read between the lines. Everything that's saying, everything that's mentioned is great and all. What can I gain from this? How can I learn from this? It taught me that learning never ends because once you're comfortable, that's when we stop learning. I didn't recognize my comfort was stopping my growth because my growth wasn't even existing. Here's what I learned about identifying and doing things afraid. To this day, I still do things afraid. It doesn't stop. Our confidence and our persistence and our belief just get stronger over time because what I learned when we throw in the towel, we quit before the journey even gets difficult. I remember in the Marine Corps, we did this 15-mile hike. I've never done a 15-mile hike before to begin with. And when we done it, it wasn't difficult. It wasn't even that tiring, but we pushed through it. We pushed through it because the territory was unknown, yet we was doing it afraid. Our fear didn't stop our change because we had to go and take it mile by mile. Here's what I learned from this moment. Us taking the hike mile by mile showed us that we can do anything we put our mind to. Our negative talk that we have on ourselves stops us from preventing and growing because we think we're not good enough. I didn't think I wasn't good enough to leave my hometown because it wasn't really spoken about. Furthermore, it was spoken about. It wasn't just spoken about to me. See, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to college. College wasn't my forte. It wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't something I really enjoyed. Because I went for the wrong thing. When I was in college, I went to be a physical therapist. I didn't recognize I didn't like science. So college is not bad. It's to identify what you would like to do that makes it better. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and it made it difficult. So I stopped going to college. So the routes that I had was very limited because I was going to either play football or go to college. I'm not that tall, I'm not that strong, I'm not that big versus any other players that's D1, D2, D3, whatever the case is. I knew I wasn't going to play college ball, so my intention, my goal wasn't to go play. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan because I lacked how to develop one. I didn't know how to build one because I thought we're just supposed to have multiple thoughts in our head that we want to pursue. But what's the plan? What's the action steps that we're supposed to take? The next point I want to hit on is the lack of planning. Before I hit on point number 3, if you're watching this video so far, this Wednesday, I'm hosting a free webinar on how to repurpose your pain into your passion. See, the best lesson comes from our toughest time. We just have to recognize what we're going through is for us. We don't recognize it's for us because we're talking down amongst ourselves. We're not good enough. Why did I have to go through this? I didn't deserve this. I thought I was a good person. Just because you're a good person doesn't mean you're not going to face tough times. See, that's why this webinar is so important. Repurpose your pain. That's why this free webinar is so important. Repurpose your pain into your passion, because we all have pain. Yet our passion is discovered when we overcome our pain. If you'd like to sign up and register for a free webinar this Wednesday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the link will be in the description. Make sure you click it, sign up, and register below. I'll see you there this Wednesday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The last point I want to hit on is the lack of planning. See, lack of planning is something that it is a skill that has to be worked on every single day. And as it's being developed and understood, results get presented. Results get presented. Here's why. Because when you have a plan, you know the next steps that you're going to take. You know what you need to execute at the time, at the moment, at the place that you would like to take place, that you like for it to be done. When I was in Marine Corps in boot camp, everything was on the schedule. Everything that we did was on a time schedule. They had a plan for the day. Not only the day, they had a plan for the week. Not only the week, they had a plan for the month. Not only the month, they had a plan for the whole time we was there. Why? Because they developed the skill to understand that time is very important. We're not going to waste no time that we have. Everything is planned. There might be dead times. There might be times where we're not doing anything, quote unquote, it's not on the schedule, but they're going to find something to do, because time is the most important thing there is. See, when we lack the plan, we lack the ability to be aware of time. Time is with us, but we just go against it because we don't understand it. Why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to go through a tough time when this tough time is teaching you the best lesson that you ever learned before? See, when I understood that it was okay for me to leave my hometown, I grew and learned so much about myself. I learned I could do a 15-mile hike. I learned I can learn new people and be uncomfortable just learning about them. I know I can be uncomfortable leaving my hometown because I can learn a new place, a new territory, because the new territory is teaching me how to grow. Not only grow, but to do things that's really hard of doing. And it's hard because most of the times I don't feel like doing it. It's not that I don't feel like it. How can I do it every single day? Just because I went to college and then finished my physical therapy degree, what am I going to do? See, there's a plan. The plan is being built. The plan and the action steps is being built every single day. See, these videos are so important because it show me what I'm doing and how I'm supposed to be doing it. See, you only get better with consistency while you're being persistent along the journey. I didn't recognize that making videos was so difficult before I started. And see, and that's why it's so important, because when I left for the military taught me how to be uncomfortable with the unknown, because I don't need to know everything. I just need to start. Me starting led me to build the confidence, to grow, to learning new information, to speaking with people that I never met before, to communicating in a way that I never thought I'd be communicating with. See, leaving home was not just a lesson in disguise. It was a moment of growth that has to be pursued. And it only can be pursued when we decide for ourselves. We can't worry about every other person that's around us. We can only worry about ourselves. How can we help others if we're not helping ourselves? I wanted to help everybody that's around me, but how can I help if I'm not helping myself? That's why me leaving Little Rock, Arkansas for the military was the best thing ever, because I learned how to be in my purpose, how to be in my passion, how to believe in myself, how to do it afraid. See, when you do it afraid, you just have confidence that you're going to mess up. Because when you mess up, you just keep going. That's why it's so important to identify that home is going to be there. How can we bring value to home when we're not bringing value to ourselves? That's why it's so important to be willing to leave home and put in your mind that it's okay to leave. You don't have to join the military. You don't have to go the route that I went, but I went the route that was most comfortable for me. I wouldn't even say comfortable, but most challenging for me. because it taught me more in lessons that I wasn't even expecting. Here's why this is so important, because we have to identify what we would like to do. We don't need to know everything. We don't need to know all the how to do, how to join the military. We don't need to know everything. There's expertise in every field that we want to pursue. But we have to start with one. We have to start with one thing. My thing was the military. I started with the one. I spoke with the recruiter. I went to some of the police trainings. The trainings like every other week or every once a month or something like that. I went to the trainings. I went to the places where they had like a training of how boot camp was going to be. I went there, but it started with step one, speaking with the recruiter and get more information. We don't need to know everything. The first step is identifying what path and plan we would like to take for ourselves. As we're taking this plan, we have to identify that we have to do it afraid, because as we're doing it afraid, we learn more about ourselves. And once we learn more about ourselves, we have to identify that attachment to homes stops our growth, because our growth is more than what we think. It's more than what we expect. It's more than what we are aware of, because we have to learn and be okay with change. We have to be okay and tell ourselves it's going to be okay to leave home. Home is going to be here, but what can I do for myself? What can I do for myself to learn, to grow, to develop, to learn a new skill, to learn gain a new experience? You can only gain a new experience if you leave your hometown. That's why me leaving Little Rock, Arkansas was the best for me, because I grew so much within myself. In closing, attachment to home stops your growth. And it stops your growth because we get comfortable with the people that's around us, because we grew up with them. We are familiar with them. We know them, right? And it stops us from learning new people, new information, and new ways to communicate with people that we ain't never met before. Fear of change does not stop, because we have to learn how to do it afraid. Once we learn how to do it afraid, we're gaining the confidence. And as we're gaining the confidence, we're identifying that it's still scary. We still have fear, but the fear is not stopping me. I'm working with it this time. I'm working with it this time because now I have a plan. Now I have a plan. I'm no longer lacking a plan, because the plan is being developed every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start with one. Start with yourself. Identify what you would like to do. Just one thing, not multiple things. Identify one thing that you would like to do. Pursue it. And the answers will come after you start and begin along your journey. In closing, leaving home is a lesson to recognize that it's okay to leave. It's okay to leave your hometown, because your hometown is going to always be there. You just have to be different. You just have to learn more about you, what you would like to do, what you want to do. Again, you don't have to go to the military. That was my route. What's the route for you? That's why discovering yourself and identifying what route is good for you will help you along your journey. If you enjoyed this video on how to personally develop within yourself, click this video right here on how to believe in everything that you're doing. And also, before you leave, make sure you leave a comment down below on explaining why it is okay to leave your hometown.